Hello everyone, it's Shantae Gilliard here with Speak Your Truth, and I have a special guest with me, Miss Diane Williams. Say hi.
How are you?
And would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Diane Williams Mustafa. I'm 57 years old and a mother of one, grandmother of two, secretary is my profession now. And I've been back in South Carolina since 2007.
Awesome introduction, Miss Diane. And she's going to be speaking about domestic violence, and she has an awesome story. I heard her story beforehand, and I was amazed by it. So her first question is, how did you meet the guy who abused you?
Well, I used to have a retail store in a mall in Maryland, in Baltimore, Maryland, and it was just someone who just popped his head in and said hello. I thought was a nice person for a friendship. Just someone, because I didn't have family there. It was just myself, basically. I was in a marriage that wasn't viable anymore. So my husband and I were estranged at the time. So it was just someone to, go to the movies with, kick it with. That's it. It wasn't someone I selected as a boyfriend.
Okay.
It was just friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you guys became friends, it became something more later, right?
It became more, and that's the dangerous part.
Yeah.
When you say friends, it should really just stay friends. When you put sex into the relation, the friendship, it changes to something else.
Yeah.
Because one person will want more.
Yeah. So how long did you stay in the relationship, and why?
That relationship lasted 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay.
Which felt like 12 and a half years. 2.5 years. And only because once red flags started going up and you said this person is crazy, you try to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And then when you realize this person truly is crazy, then they do anything they can to try to keep you in the relationship. So basically, I was kidnapped, and my life was just he took over my life at that point.
Wow.
So, and he actually physically kidnapped me.
Oh.
And that's when the fear settled in, and he threatened to have a friend of mine killed, and the fear was solidified at that point.
So do you think that was the reason why you ignored the red flags, because of fear, or was it because you loved him?
Oh, no. At first, there was never love. It was
never
just a
love.
Friendship.
It was just a friendship.
Exactly.
Friends with benefits.
Friends with
That's
benefit.
it.
And you never give benefits to someone you just want to be friends with.
Yeah.
So, but it was loneliness, through loneliness.
Yeah.
And loneliness is a very dangerous thing. It takes you places you normally would never go. I'm real about that. So the red flags were, just basic stuff, and you just thought, well, maybe this person had a bad day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when it happens again, you go like, oh, well, this person's really kind of crazy. And then there's always an explanation for something. And we just keep accepting these explanations. By the time you really said, no, this person's actually crazy, you're so deep into it that it's very hard to get out of.
Okay.
Right.
So when did you first experience the abuse? Did it become verbal first, or mental and then physical?
It always starts as a mental or verbal thing. Someone trying to tell you how to dress, where to go, like when you're driving, go this way. Take away your choices and stuff, and just little things like that. And then later it becomes physical. So, and if you ever fight back, then it becomes even more severe.
Right. And do you believe that's why women don't fight back, because they fear death, or they feel like it's going to be worse than what it is? Well, did you fight back? First of all, let me go back. Did you fight back?
In the beginning, I was too afraid.
Too afraid to fight back.
And I came here one summer too. And he came with me to pick my son up, who was about 5, 6, at the time, and from summer break, and I was at my grandmother's, and he fought me in my grandmother's house. Wow. And I realized my grandmother at her age would fight for me. Yeah. My grandmother would physically fight
so she was
for
getting
me.
It in, huh?
She would. she was asleep, so she didn't hear what was going on. But if she had known what was going on, my grandmother would have fought him for me. And so at that point, that was a very defining moment for me. Yeah. Because then I had to put that fear aside and learn to fight for myself. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And once you do that, it's like, how dare you touch me? Yeah. But then they can touch you. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, right. I had to learn to fight for me. Forget the fear, because if you're going to kill me, you're going to kill me. But I can't let you harm someone else. Yeah. You know, all your friends, all your family that they threatened, because he threatened everybody. Oh, wow. Everyone's life became in a position of being in jeopardy because of me. Yeah. So you have to back away from all friends and family to keep them safe. Yeah. Because supposedly he had he was in the drug trade, and he had a relative who was an assassin for the drug trade, and I believed it. Yeah. You know. So.
Yeah. Wow. So when did you realize it was time to get out of the relationship? Did a physical altercation happen? When did that light bulb come up?
The light bulb was always on. It was on. After that kidnapping, he kidnapped me one night and threatened to have a friend of mine shot. The light bulb, that was it. Yeah. But then, along with that came the threats of other people's lives. So then you have to backtrack it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like one day it would be like, I would say, look, you know, I'm the messed up one. Yeah. You know, my life is crazy, blah, blah, blah. I want you to go find, you know, supposedly he had someone, but I want you to find someone who can make you happy. And because, you know, I'm so messed up, and but you put all the blame on yourself. And then it was, okay, well, go, you know, it was like you're being released. And then you say, oh my God, is this it? Yeah. And then you go to walk away, and then he try to not, you know, push me down a hill, you know, and be like, okay, here comes the crazy. Yeah. So then you have to backtrack that. I always had to decide which demon was the least severe at the time, and you go with that. Yeah.
Okay, so what were the end results of this abuse? How did you get out of this abuse? What actually stopped the abuse?
Well, I wouldn't want anyone to have to go to where I went to get out of this relationship. Yeah. It came to a head one night after a fight with him threatening to kill my son, who I dearly loved. Yeah, and he was jealous of the relationship with my son.
With your 5-year-old son?
Yes. Because I love my son, you know, and I showed him love, and I didn't show him love, but I didn't love him. Yeah. And he knew that I didn't love him. Yeah. I actually had feelings for someone else who he knew that. And like I said, we were just friends. Yeah. The other person was more unavailable to me. And so I was lonely. Yeah. And he and I were just supposed to be friends. Again, and when you put the benefits, then you know you change the whole complexion of the friendship. Sure did. But that night, we had gone skating. We skated all the time. And it was a fight between us because some little boy gave my son some money, and my son shouldn't have taken it, and that it could be anything. Yeah. Anything at all.
Anything to trigger.
But that night, he threatened to kill my son because he knew I loved my son, and he wasn't going to touch my son. He had beaten my son so bad one time that my son was living in fear. If you said whipping, he would just go into hysterics. And so he threatened to go and kill my son, and I asked him not to, and he made a move, and so I shot and killed him.
You shot and killed him?
Yeah.
Whew, Lord. When I heard that, I was like, you got to protect your children, no matter what.
Right.
You threaten to kill my kid, I'm going to get you.
Yeah. And it was going to be, you know, him and me. You know, he was going to, he was going to get me or I was going to get him. You know, but then when you put myself, seriously, and you know, if I had gotten killed in that, I put myself in it, no matter how it happened. I chose to put myself in there out of loneliness or whatever. So if something had happened to me, that would have been okay, because I even contemplated suicide. That would have been better than staying in that relationship. But then my son would be here without a mom. And that would not have been fair to him. So I was okay with that. I don't fear death. You know, it's the person that I don't want to die a violent life, death. But whatever happens, happens. But that was the defining moment when he threatened to go get my son and kill my son in front of me, because that would hurt me more than anything. And so I did what I had to do.
Did you serve time?
I served 2 years.
2 years.
2 years in a maximum security prison in Jessup, Maryland.
That part I don't understand. Why should a mom that protects her child and is in an abusive relationship have to serve time for that?
It's so many factors, but for me, in my case, it was I had went through court one complete time, and the jurors were hung. And so in the state of Maryland, you can go to trial as many times as they take you with a hung jury. You know, I lived the abuse, so I knew what I went through. But when I heard the witnesses speak about what they witnessed, it just stabbed me in the heart, because it hurt so bad that someone saw what I was going through. It's a very degrading process, you know. And when my parents had to keep hearing about it, and that broke my heart. Because my parents knew what I was going through, but they didn't know what I was going through. And I would not share information in order to protect them. So I got 2 years because my attorney was like, look, at first, the first time they didn't even offer me any kind of deals or pleas or anything, because they were hung, hopelessly hung and deadlocked. Then the state's attorney offered me a deal. And my attorney's like, look, the jurors, they don't know penalties of crimes or what. So he was like, they can think that they're giving you, you know, doing something for you by giving you a handgun charge. And it was my handgun, it was registered to me and everything.
Oh, wow.
But the penalty for that was 5 years. And you have to do every day of the 5 years. So he said, you know, a second-degree murder charge they can work with, but they couldn't work with the handgun charge. So to get away from possibly the jurors thinking they're helping me by giving me a handgun charge over a murder charge, would not be helping me. So then I just took the plea, the Alfred plea, and went with the 2 years.
Wow. It just doesn't make sense.
I know.
Anybody in my family, if they're in danger, I'm gonna get you.
But look at my case. I mean, at the time, I was facing life. I mean, they were trying to get me on life or the death penalty. So 2 years, I made out very good. I praise God for it. And you know what, Shante? I learned so much being locked up. That was my process. God took me there, because you would think that women who were locked up, I thought that everyone in prison needed to be there or deserved to be there, but that's not the case. In this prison that I was at is nothing like you see on TV. It's no horror stories. It's unfortunate situations and lots of great testimonies through people's lives. And you have a small percent of heinous crimes that have been committed, but the majority of women that were locked up were women who had been molested, abused, and they medicated the pain through drugs, alcohol, prostitution, and they have to pay for their habits. And so they might steal, so they have, and so they're in and out of prison. And the sad part about it is that their lives are more complete inside prison than outside in the free world. They have a purpose, they have school, they have work, they have to get up and maintaining themselves every day. They can't lay in bed all day. And out here in the free world, it's
a whole lot of stuff you got to worry about. You got to
saying?
care about.
there's no one, there's no friends except the friends trying to keep you stuck and stupid. You know, they're the same place, same people, same things. And so when they go inside, they have a support group, they have friends, they have purpose. Out in the world, it's just the devil, you know, and these things that keep them trapped. Right? And that's the sad part. And I had to go and witness that, so my purpose can come through, because I know my purpose is to help women. Right. And at first, girl, I was so ashamed, but now I can boldly tell my story, so I can save someone else.
That's right.
And I tell anyone, if you see red flags, you pay attention to red flags and give yourself the benefit of the doubt and not someone else.
That's right. Because I remember I wasn't in a domestic violence relationship, but I did grow up with it with my mom, and I saw how she dealt with it. And I remember one time when me and my daughter's father, we were just driving in a car, and I had my daughter in the front seat, and I got mad at him because he didn't know where her doctor's office was. So we just started arguing, and I just said, boop, I hit him in his face, and he hit me back, you know, and we just started fighting right in front of my daughter, but it still wasn't a good feeling. Even though I hit him, it wasn't a good feeling, so I can't even imagine what you have gone through when it came down to your child and your situation in your life, because we get into a different headspace when we're dealing with someone, and we tend to ignore those signs.
For so many different reasons. In my case, it wasn't love. It was just afraid of the repercussions of that violent person. You know, so I can't tell a person who's in love, because I was in two crazy relationships, and the next one was love. And then at some point you said, I have to get out of this, you know. Love and trying to find a new career, you know. So at some point it just wasn't worth it, and then, you know, I just left that one. But I've had knives at my throat. I mean, just crazy, insane things, you know. And people have sicknesses for so many different reasons. And when a person is a drug abuser, I mean, their mind just gets kind of scrambled, and they don't see things in the right light, and no matter what you say, you're never going to be right. And you can't keep someone away from drugs or alcohol. If they're an abuser, they're an abuser. And like you in your case with your baby's dad, abuse is something that's learned. It's a learned behavior. So you witness it, and then you became that. You know, and so for me, you have to consciously break cycles. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the only way you're gonna stop it, because you know that person who abused me learned that from probably from his dad. He saw it somewhere. You know, and so you have a choice. You can either make a conscious decision to not do that, and with real effort, or you fall into it. You know,
you do. How long ago was this? How many years ago did this happen?
I shot him in 1998. So this was about 95 when I met him.
When you met? Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. And I have to say, I had a fantastic attorney. You know, and I had a lot of great people. I had great witnesses, people who came to my, you know, defense. And it's a great testimony for me. It's unfortunate. I used to question, why me? I have never been one to use and abuse men for money or anything. I've always worked for mine, and I can wait for mine. And so the question is, why me? Because you know, after enduring all of that, the most painful part was trying to find an answer to why me. And so I finally had an older woman who said, you know, the devil likes good things, and you're a good person. The devil likes good things too. That's the only answer that has soothed my soul. You understand? Because I know that I'm a good person. I know that I should not have endured any of that. So I ask God, why me? And so for her to say, well, you're a good person and the devil likes good things. Look at Job. You know what I'm saying? Then why not you? Right.
You have a purpose, and
I have a purpose.
It's to help other women, because we know it's a lot of women that they're going through it right now, or have been through it, and they don't know how to get out of it. So what would you tell women, or even men, because some men are in abusive relationships too, right? So what advice would you give them in order for them to get out of it, and how can they stay out of it?
It's a very delicate situation, and each situation is different.
It's different, yeah.
How to get out of it? Well, first of all, how to even recognize it is a person who tries to control you is not a person that loves you. Yeah. And we are so lonely and broken that we think if a person tells us, do this, do that, or try to keep tabs on us, that's an act of love, but it's not.
It's not.
It's an act of control. Yeah. And it's not us, because we think it's us, and they say it's your fault. You made me do that. And you're so conditioned to believe that it's not no one's. It can't be your fault that I put my hands on you, because I don't care what comes out of your mouth. It's my choice if to strike you or not.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
Or to come back. I can easily walk away. I can walk away. And I don't know when we got into a world where if I can't have you, no one else can. Because if you're meant to be with someone, regardless of what happens today, I believe in my heart, and I've seen it, that God will bring you back to that person. Maybe it's just not the right time. Maybe it's not the right person, and God's trying to move this unfortunate situation away from you, and you're fighting or they're fighting to keep you in it, when God's trying to bless you with something that you deserve. So keep your eyes open. And we have to love ourselves. My pastor preached about that today. You know what I'm saying? You have to love yourself and not be afraid to say, I am worth this. And so I will not settle for this. And as broken as you are, when I was locked up, I had to go through a 9 months intensive treatment program. And I went to court to try to get rid of it. And the judge was like, DOC owns you for these 2 years. And if they said you have to do a program, you have to do a program.
Have to do it.
But I learned so much from that program. I learned that, our parents can't give us what they didn't have. Like I said, things are learned behavior.
They are.
So if you need warm hugs and to be told that you're loved all the time to help you become that whole person, and it doesn't come from them, you're going to have to dig down deep in yourself to try to rectify that, because they weren't told that, and they weren't given warm hugs and all that either. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for them to give you something that they didn't have. Because again, they would have to consciously break that cycle. And I make sure that my son knows he's loved. I make sure that my grandchildren know that they're loved and they're the best, and they can have anything and they can do anything that they aspire to do. They just have to work hard for it. Because I don't want them out in this world trying to find love in all the wrong places like I did. You understand? So the only thing I can say to a person who might be going through is try to seek some kind of professional help.
That's important.
And people say, well, why didn't you leave? Why did you stay? When a person's telling you, I will get you, they make it their job to track you down. They make it their job to make sure that you'll never get away from them, and you're sealed in fear. So until that person knows in their heart or feel in their heart that they can make an escape for real, they're not going anywhere. And it's not because they don't value your opinion. It's not because they don't need your help. It's just that they don't see themselves safely out of that relationship because you think that this abuser, and I don't care how small they are, they can be 4 feet tall. They see that person as a giant. And so they don't feel that they can get away from that person. So you pray for them, and you get them information and you put them with an organization that can help. You can't do it because a lot of times people try to physically help a person and they get killed themselves.
Yeah.
That's how dangerous that is.
I've heard stories like that. Yeah.
And it's true. So now I was in this relationship. These situations have no color, no economic status. You know, you can be white, black, young, old, rich, poor. It's just that we link up with some of the wrong people sometimes. You know, and not that we are seeking them, they are seeking us.
Yeah.
Because they see the good in you or whatever. You're successful. I mean, I'm educated. I had a business, you know, and supposedly this person, like I said, was in the drug business, so had money. So, but then that wasn't true. Every single thing he ever said was a lie. Every single thing. So, and not just to me. He told it to everyone. Yeah,
so he had a mental issue.
He had issues, right? And that's why I said when I realized, I was like, he's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but then at that point, he was so vested in my life where he was telling people I was his wife, my son was his son, my business was his, and when I got a home, my home was his, and I had a townhouse with a Baltimore City police officer. We were housemates. And he threatened her. And I didn't believe it at the time, but it helped me out in court though, because she sent me a letter. Her attorney sent me a letter. And so if she was fearful, then I should have been fearful. Right.
It's I'm just speechless because
it was crazy.
I just can't even imagine, you know, myself being in that situation. And you're a strong person.
I'm a strong person today. I wasn't strong then. I mean, I was strong, but I didn't see myself strong. I'm a strong person today. I can tell my story to help someone and not feel weak, broken,
or ashamed.
Right.
Because I think that's what a lot of why a lot of people don't come forward, because they do feel ashamed. They do have fear. They just can't seem to shake themselves from what happened to them.
When I made bail, which they were just astounded. No one had made bail with my charges, and then my bail wasn't a really high bail. But you know, I had a clean record. I haven't been in trouble or anything like this. This was, you know, isolated here. But it's so much a person endures. And my thing is this, and I'll tell everybody: you don't know what a person is going through. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sitting here today and I look like I have it together. I mean, I can be the most broken person in the world. And so I ask people, be kind to one another.
Right. It's important.
A smile, a nice gesture, a handshake,
words of encouragement,
words of encouragement can save a person's life.
Yes.
Because you don't know where I am in mine. I can be on the brink of suicide, and your kind words can just pull me back. So I say that today, and women are cruel to other women. You know, we are cruel, and so consciously again, I stop saying things when I see someone. I'll be like, well, what would he see? You know, because maybe that's the best person that person has ever known. You don't know why a person is with another person, but if you know a person that's going through, or if you know the person that's broken, you try to get that person some help. And self-help books help. You know, and just be a good friend. Be my sister's keeper. And what I do now is, if I see something that does not look right, I use my telephone. I dial 911. I sit there and I wait. You never get involved. You sit and wait, because if there's a gun, that's right. If there's a gun being pulled, you're going first. You understand? So I sit and wait for the police officer. I witness what I witness. I give testimony or whatever, and that's that's my part of trying to save this person's life. You know what I'm saying? There was a woman at Walmart going through some stuff out in the parking lot with this guy, and all I did was call 911. Gave the description of the car and what was going on, and I sat there, and then finally He walked away.
Yeah.
And then she went after her. At that point, I was done. I did everything I can do.
Why, Jesus?
Right. So, I told the police, well, he left and she's now going after him. So my job is done.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. I'm my sister's keeper.
Yeah.
And your telephone is your best weapon.
Yeah.
That's it. Do not physically get involved because you will be the first one to lose your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Such an awesome testimony. I'm still like, she's just awesome just to sit here before the people for you to share your story and not be ashamed of it. That's awesome.
No shame. Look,
that's awesome.
And I think in May, June, I lost my 19-year-old cousin to domestic violence in Charlotte. That's the young lady, Deja, that got stabbed up, by her ex-boyfriend because she would not take him back. I've lost another little cousin, church sister, who got shot, Keisha Rudolph, years ago in front of her daughter by the daughter's baby's daddy. Another cousin of mine, that was the young lady who got killed over in the Conway area.
Not Dollar General.
No,
that wasn't Dollar
This
General.
one was in the trailer.
Okay,
that was Ebony Michelle Drayton. So I mean, these people are not strangers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what do these people do to deserve this?
Yeah.
Because they want to go on with life. Because the guy want to cheat and want to have you too. And when you say I'm not going to stand for that, they want to take you out or what. So domestic violence is real.
Yes, it is.
And you'll be surprised who's going through.
Yeah.
They may not tell you, but you'll be surprised. I'm sure everyone knows someone who's going through, but you may not know or be aware that they are. But you know the person. You know someone. Everyone's affected by domestic violence.
Yeah. That is... You gotta love yourself, and she mentioned that earlier. You have to your love for yourself. You won't allow anybody to treat you any kind of way. And as women, some of us want to be loved so bad that we just settle, and it's always a light bulb that comes up. And first of all, we have that women's intuition. So if I see a little something and it looks like I'm taking off, and that was just me. If you had looked like you was crazy, I was gone. But some people are not like that, so I can't expect everybody to react the same way because everybody's situation is different. But I just thank God that you're able to tell your story. You are alive and well, and your son. How old is your son now?
My son is 28.
28 years old.
And praise the Lord, he was too young to really remember.
Oh, well, thank God. Thank you, Lord.
Right. And I questioned him, and he just doesn't remember, and I praise God for that.
Oh yeah.
Because my parents would come and visit up north, and when my parents would leave us on Sunday to come home, he would be crying and I would be crying. My parents were my protection.
Yeah.
And when my protection was gone, I was open.
Yeah.
So I was so grateful that God delivered me.
Yes.
And I'm so saddened that a lot of people, not just women, but people can't say the same thing. There are too many people that are lost, have gone on because of this situation, and too many children without their parents, and now too many children dying as a result of murder-suicide.
Or just suicide because they can't deal with the person that's actually beating on them.
And for me, this is just me. I'm saying this. If you can't handle something and you feel like your only way out is suicide, then you pray and you pray for deliverance.
Yes, that's right.
But if you feel like you can't be delivered, then you take you out.
That's right.
Why would you take the other parent and the children out? Why would you do that? I don't understand that.
Selfishness. And it's a demon. And when people understand the spiritual realm, it's just a straight up demon.
Right. And I mean, it's sad enough that you would think that your life is built on the happiness made by someone else. You know what I'm saying? You will, when my ex-husband and I broke up for the first time, girl, I felt my heart break in my body. My spirit was broken. Wow. I was 6 months pregnant, left alone with nothing. and I felt my heart break. But God delivered me, and I'll tell anyone,
and you wanted it.
You will get over the hurt. And
you
pain.
will.
It hurts like crap while you're going through, but time heals all wounds.
That's right.
I'm telling you that from experience, not by something I read. I'm telling you as I live and sit right here right now, God will deliver you. He will restore you. He will even make you better. You know, and my ex-husband and I, we're friends today. He's a great guy. He just wasn't mine. Yeah. You know, he wasn't my Adam.
Yeah,
you understand? That's right. But he's my baby's daddy. He's a great guy. And but he just wasn't mine. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So you have to recognize that you are the maker of your happiness. Yes, that's right. You know, whatever you're going through, pick yourself up, work yourself through it, and become the whole person that you need to be. Like my pastor said that. Call your home phone from your cell phone and tell yourself how great and wonderful you are if no one else does it. I like that. You gotta encourage yourself. You have to encourage yourself. That's right. You have to. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. On your down days, you find something. Yeah. Something that brings you some joy. Yeah. And you partake in that and you get over that sad moment where you are pity party and you're gone. Because guess what? Someone else has it worse than you. Yeah. We think that we're at the bottom, but someone else has it worse than you. Yeah, they do. Right.
But we thank Miss Diane.
Oh, you're welcome.
So we're going to end Speak Your Truth. Please share and like this video because we don't know who else is going through the same thing or who have been going through the same thing and they never spoke about it. So please share this video to someone else. If this video was not for you, please share it because you don't know who else you can help. So until next time, deuces.